Karo smiled, recognizing his student's deep curiosity. In Buddhism, he replied, every moment of the day is an opportunity to practice mindfulness and compassion. Nighttime awakenings offer us a unique window to explore our mental and emotional states without the distractions we have during the day. Karo shared stories of ancient Buddhist masters who, through meditation and contemplation, had transformed their nighttime awakenings into opportunities to deepen their understanding of the human mind and soul. The Buddha taught that waking up at night can be seen as an invitation to develop awareness and kindness towards ourselves and others, Karo said. It is a time to embrace our experiences without judgment, thus allowing inner wisdom to emerge and move us forward along our path of spiritual rebirth. The disciples, listening with gratitude, felt inspired by the profound union between Eastern medicine and Buddhist wisdom that their master had outlined. Remember, Karo added, that every nighttime awakening is an opportunity to grow, learn, and connect with the deepest part of ourselves. Be grateful for these moments of awareness, for they are precious gifts on the path to spiritual fulfillment. Now, let's see in more detail which areas of life are affected by nocturnal awakenings, so that you can better analyze yourself and others. Stress and anxiety accumulated during the day and manifest themselves in waking up at night between 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the morning. During these hours, the human body is naturally predisposed to release peaks of cortisol, the stress hormone, Karo explained. If these levels are already high due to daily worries, you are likely to experience nocturnal awakenings. In these cases, practices like meditation, deep breathing, and muscle relaxation can help reduce stress and promote deeper sleep. My suggestion, therefore, is to get used to meditating for at least 10 minutes before going to bed. This way, you will prepare yourself to sleep more peacefully. Awakenings at these particular hours of the night are associated with the lungs in Chinese medicine and with sadness according to Eastern psychology, Karo continued. This may indicate the presence of repressed or unprocessed emotions such as grief, loss, or loneliness. Facing and accepting these emotions is fundamental to inner healing. Practicing mindfulness and exploring emotions through writing or therapy can help understand and integrate these emotional experiences. If you have suffered negative experiences of this type, I recommend working on yourself to process them and find inner peace and emotional balance. Looking into the eyes of his disciples, Karo continued his lesson. In the Eastern spiritual tradition, the early hours of the morning are considered a privileged time for connection with the divine and for spiritual practice. During this period of tranquility and silence, it is easier to get lost in meditation, prayer, or deep contemplation, he noted. Many people wake up at these hours precisely because their deepest self yearns to connect with the divine. Many practitioners find that waking up specifically between 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the morning is an opportunity to experience greater spiritual presence and awareness, opening the door to new insights and spiritual realizations. These nocturnal awakenings, Karo continued, can also be interpreted as signs of a process of inner transformation and personal growth. During these hours, the subconscious may be more active, bringing hidden emotions, thoughts, and desires to the surface, he advised. This can be a time to deeply explore your psyche and to identify what changes or transformations are necessary to live a more authentic and meaningful life. Some nocturnal awakenings, however, can be caused by physical disorders such as acid reflux, insomnia, or sleep apnea, Karo cautioned. Liver problems can also interrupt sleep and cause frequent awakenings during these hours. Eastern medicine suggests various remedies for these conditions. However, if you think you may have such problems, consult a doctor to identify and treat the underlying cause of these physical ailments. Eradicating these problems at the root allows you to improve the quality of sleep and promote emotional and general well-being. As the disciples continued to listen with great attention, Caro introduced another important aspect. The period from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the morning is considered a time when the unconscious can communicate important messages through dreams and awakenings, he explained. This theory is suggested by both ancient Zen wisdom and the analytical psychology of Carl Gustav Jung, he suggested. These messages can be symbolic or intuitive and can provide valuable insights into our inner lives, relationships, or challenges we are facing. Keeping a dream diary or practicing meditation before sleep can help capture and interpret these unconscious messages. If you write them down immediately the next day, you will have the opportunity to remember them and use them in your growth process. Another reason why some of us wake up at these times, according to Eastern tradition, is linked to the natural rhythms of the universe, Caro continued. The early hours of the morning are considered a time when vital energy is concentrated and flows more freely. Waking during this time may indicate an alignment with these natural cycles or need to adapt to them to promote health and well-being. Practices such as yoga, tai chi, or meditation can help harmonize the body, mind, and spirit with the rhythms of nature. So, my dears, Caro addressed his disciples. Consider practicing them. A disciple asked, Master Caro, should we ultimately be worried if we often wake up at these times? My dears, said the monk, I would look at these awakenings as a precious opportunity to explore the depths of our mind, our spirit, and even our body. If an awakening suggests a physical problem to us, we will know we need to take care of it. If it suggests a spiritual meaning to us, we will know we have to work on it. Remember, through Eastern wisdom and heartfelt compassion, to learn to welcome these moments as precious gifts along the journey of life. Every nocturnal awakening is an invitation to greater awareness and understanding of ourselves and the world around us. So instead of resisting or ignoring these awakenings, we can welcome them with kindness and openness, allowing them to illuminate our path to spiritual fulfillment. The best thing you can do is create a space of quiet and reflection before going to bed, allowing your mind and body to completely relax. Practices like meditation, deep breathing, or reading inspirational texts can prepare you for a more restful, deep sleep. And when you wake up between 3 o'clock a.m. and 5 o'clock a.m. in the morning, take this phenomenon as an opportunity to explore your inner self and connect with your deepest essence. Have you ever wanted to help someone even though they didn't explicitly ask you to? And how did it go? Do not help others, or your karma will suffer. Have you ever wondered if your good intentions could, in fact, have caused a negative ripple effect that you weren't aware of? In the Zen story you are about to hear, we will see that not helping others unless they ask you is best for them and for yourself. So stay until the end, because what you discover, thanks to Buddhist wisdom, could change the way you see the world of human relationships. In essence, you will see how helping those who do not want to be helped can have negative repercussions on your life and theirs, and you will discover how your karma will be affected. In a quiet Buddhist monastery, surrounded by lush gardens and ancient trees, the old and sagacious monk Noro gathered his disciples to talk about a topic very close to everyone's hearts. His curiosity was palpable, and his eyes were fixed on Noro. They all wanted to understand more about the reasons why, when they had helped someone, things had not gone as they would have liked. Life is like a great river, and each of us is a small boat navigating this tumultuous course, Noro began in a calm voice. Often, we tend to jump into that current, trying to steer other people's boats without waiting to be asked. To make the metaphor he had just used understandable, Noro shared a story passed down through the centuries. He spoke of a young monk eager to help a companion in difficulty without being asked. He felt that his act of kindness had not produced the relief he had hoped for, but had instead generated a sense of shame and changed the dynamic of the friendship itself. In short, unsolicited help had created discord and confusion, demonstrating how in life even good deeds can have unexpected consequences. What we often don't understand is that each individual is at the mercy of their own karma, Noro explained, and every action we take, good or bad, comes back to us like an echo. When we help without being asked to do so, we upset the delicate balance of another person's karma and paradoxically harm our own as well. The old monk told other stories, such as that of a young man who, eager to solve the problems of a dear friend without her having asked him, found himself involved in a series of endless difficulties and misadventures. If you enter a labyrinth that is not yours, but someone else's without being asked, Noro continued, you could set off a chain reaction of events, creating an intricate web of karmic connections, and your gesture of friendship, no matter how sincere it may seem, could end up doing more harm to the friend in question and to yourself. Imagine wanting to cure someone without asking them if they are willing to give up the things that made them sick, Noro said. Suffering is often caused by past actions, and our intervention could alter the natural course of learning that the individual should ultimately experience. Noro then went on to talk about Buddhist teachings, highlighting how even he himself had resisted the temptation to intervene without request. Buddha, the monk explained, had understood the sacredness of the individual learning process and how the karma of each being must be respected. Suffering is a very severe but precious teacher, Noro continued, using other everyday examples to better illustrate the concept. He spoke of the many moments when, seeing a friend or family member in difficulty, empathy pushed him to offer help, and how instead, Buddha taught the wisdom of waiting for the person themselves to ask for help. Suffering is almost always the result of past actions, and karma is the supreme law that governs the universe, Noro said. When we intervene unsolicited, we enter a cyclic vortex that can drag us into other people's problems with unpredictable consequences for both of us. Remember, suffering is like a teacher who guides us along the path of spiritual growth, said Noro. To interfere with this process is to deprive others of the wisdom that only suffering itself can teach. Noro told other stories about daily life at the monastery, showing how the monks apply these teachings in daily practice. Dozens of monks I have trained, he added, became wiser and more self-confident men precisely because I avoided intervening directly in their problems. By resisting the temptation to intervene to solve certain problems, I allowed them to face their own challenges and learn the lessons that karma had in store for them. Every action we take is like throwing a stone into a pond, Noro said, using a metaphor to clarify the concept. The ripples spread and return to us. When we help without asking, we not only influence the karma of others, but create ripples that can impact our own lives. In conclusion, what do we understand from this story, and how can it help us? The moral we can draw from this story is a reminder of the wisdom of discerning when to reach out and when to wait. Karma, like an unbroken river, carries our actions with it, and the way we offer our help can alter the very structure of destiny. Before reaching out to help someone, we must reflect on what they really need. Noro admonished, not everyone seeks advice. Sometimes they just need a listening ear and an understanding heart. Therefore, let us always remember to respect the sacredness of the individual path of each human being. Help should never be an impulsive act, but rather a conscious gesture, respectful of free will, and the path of personal and spiritual growth of others and ourselves. Life is an intricate web of lessons and opportunities for growth. When we offer our help without being called, we can deprive others of the precious opportunity to learn about themselves. Wisdom lies in recognizing that sometimes the best lesson is to learn through one's own effort and experience. Therefore, let our help be a beacon of light offered when requested, with awareness and respect, rather than a chain of unexpected events. Did you know that there are at least 9 strange events that happen to you while you sleep? How many times has it happened to you during the night to suddenly wake up in the grip of very strange sensations? During the night, our body abandons itself to rest, and the mind ventures on a journey without borders among the folds of dreams and visions. But are dreams just the figment of our imagination, or do they lead us to deeper truths? And what secrets do the night hours hide when the soul seems to wander between invisible worlds? In the Zen story you're about to hear, we will explore the strangest spiritual events that happen to us while we sleep. So stay until the end, so you don't miss a single one. Only in this way will you understand if you too have experienced certain events. In the remote mountains of Japan, among silent forests and winding paths, stood an ancient Buddhist temple where the wise monk Shinzo spent his days teaching his followers the path to enlightenment. One evening, as the sun was preparing to set behind the mountain peaks, the disciples gathered around the fire in the temple courtyard, eager to listen to the master's words. One of them, with eyes shining with curiosity, dared to break the silence. "Master Shinzo," he said respectfully, "what are the strange things that happen when we sleep?" The old monk smiled wisely, searching the eyes of his followers with deep understanding. "The strange things that happen during sleep," he replied in a calm voice, "are profound truths that are revealed only to those who know how to listen to them with their hearts open. In the mysterious kingdom of the night, when the sky is painted with stars and the moon rises silently like a guardian of sleep, the world takes on an aura of enchantment and mystery. And it is precisely during these dark hours that our body abandons itself to rest, and the mind ventures on a journey without borders. Sleep thus becomes a portal to unknown dimensions, an opportunity to explore the depths of the soul and discover hidden truths." With an eloquent gesture of his hand, Shinzo invited his disciples to come closer to him and thus began to tell a story that would lead them through the mysteries of sleep and spirituality. One night, in a remote village in the mountains, Shinzo began. A young monk named Kato had an extraordinary dream. The firelight danced across his wrinkled face as the disciples listened curiously. In this dream, Shinzo continued, Kato walked along the moonlit path, surrounded by an atmosphere of serenity and mystery. It was not just any dream, but a prophetic dream, the monk explained, a sign of the mind's power to penetrate beyond the veil of time. Next, Kato found himself crossing invisible boundaries and traveling through unknown worlds, soaring beyond his physical body. It was a real astral journey, an exploration of the vastness of the universe and our connection with it, said the monk, looking into the eyes of his disciples. During his journey, Shinzo recounted, Kato encountered spirits of ancient masters who offered him wisdom and guided him on his path. Communications with spirits, Shinzo stated, are a reflection of our inner search and connection with the divine. In another dream, the monk continued, Kato experienced profound spiritual healing as his spirit was regenerated in his sleep. Spiritual healing, he said, is a process of purification of the soul that brings us to true self-awareness. During his dream journey, Shinzo continued, Kato felt himself lifted from his body and floated above it, free from earthly bonds. Out-of-body experiences, he explained, remind us that we are more than what we see, that our essence extends beyond the confines of our skin. In his dream, the monk narrated, Kato came into contact with his higher self, realizing his connection to the universe. Contact with the higher self, said Shinzo, is an experience of unity and enlightenment that shows us the ultimate truth of our existence. Kato's dreams were full of symbols and hidden meanings, Shinzo continued, which guided him on his spiritual path. Dream work, he explained, is an opportunity to explore the unconscious and integrate hidden parts of our psyche. And finally, just before he awoke, Kato had a sudden epiphany. Shinzo concluded, a vision of the ultimate truth that illuminated his soul. making him understand many things about himself. But what is hidden behind what I told you? Asked Master Shinzo rhetorically. Now we will see exactly what path Kato took during his dreams. He added, "First of all, I told you about his prophetic dreams." Shinzo began with a compassionate smile. "They are like luminous paths that lead us to the future. Remember when a village elder dreamed of an impending storm and warned us in time? Dreams give us a vision of the time to come, offering us precious insight to navigate the waters of life." Before finishing Shinzo's story, he continued, "We ask you to leave a comment with your experiences. And if you are appreciating the video, like and share it, so we can continue to produce new content like this every day." Another experience lived by Kato, which I spoke to you about, is that of astral travel. Continued the monk. These are like journeys of the soul through the vast universe of the spirit. Imagine soaring above the snow-capped mountains and dancing among the stars, exploring worlds of light and beauty beyond the veil of matter. In these moments, our spirit frees itself from the chains of the body and savors the freedom of the infinity that surrounds us. Another event Kato experienced in his dreams was that he communicated with the spirits of the old and wise masters. Shinzo said calmly, "These communications," he continued, "are like sweet melodies that resonate in the silence of the night. Every time we dream of meeting a deceased loved one or receiving a message from the angels, it is as if the sky itself bends towards us, offering us comfort and wisdom for our earthly journey." Spiritual healing, the monk continued with deep compassion, is like a loving embrace of the universe that envelops our wounded spirit, and it is another event that happens during the hours of sleep. When we fall asleep, our body regenerates, and the soul finds inner peace in the arms of the divine. Every night, in essence, we are surrounded by unconditional love that heals our deepest wounds. Continuing the lesson, Shinzo spoke about out-of-body experiences, explaining that they are like flights of the soul into unknown and wonderful worlds. During sleep, we can leave our physical bodies and venture into spiritual places, meeting beings of light and receiving teachings directly from angels. It is an experience that reminds us of our true spiritual nature and our connection to the divine, said the monk in a serene voice. Contacts with the higher self are like sweet caresses of the soul that guide us towards our spiritual mission. During sleep, we get closer to our higher self and receive clear intuitions and visions that illuminate our path. It is as if our spirit were reunited with the divine source from which everything originates. The dream work, Shinzo continued with profound wisdom, is another of the events I told you about in the story about Kato. It is like a silent dialogue between us and our unconscious, which reveals the secrets of the soul to us. In fact, through the symbols and images that dreams bring with them, we can discover hidden truths and face our fears and challenges with courage and awareness. Night meditation, said the monk, is another experience Kato has had, and it is like a silent prayer that brings us closer to the divine and allows us to achieve enlightenment. Before falling asleep, let's immerse ourselves in a state of meditation that prepares us for a deep and meaningful sleep. It is a way to open our hearts and minds to the divine presence that envelops us in an embrace of love. Do you remember what happened to Kato at the end of his dream? Asked the monk. He had an epiphany, concluded Shinzo with a radiant smile. Illuminations are like flashes of wisdom that pierce the veil of ignorance. During sleep, in fact, we can experience moments of spiritual awakening in which we perceive the ultimate truth of existence and the beauty of the universe. It is a transformative experience that brings us into the light of divine awareness. The experience of enlightenment, he said, is the culmination of our spiritual journey and awakening to the supreme truth, the ultimate goal of a night of deep and restorative sleep. If you found today's video helpful, please subscribe to our channel and like the video. See you in the next one.